Yep. Coming up on the show, we got a little talk on the Bears, NFL draft, NBA playoffs, 14-year-old and getting shot at. We're going to touch on that and the Kawhi Leonard saga and the crazy and insane coming up.
Let's get it. Ball hard, drop 30. Yeah, touchdown and field goals. Make the game worthy. Shoot your lights out, Steph Curry. Final seconds, unfiltered lines blurry. Sports talk radio with the host, Jeff. Black and white stats on the boards, no refs. We all ball, all net field goals. Number one, final seconds of the game. Home run, yeah, let's talk facts over fiction. Seasonal predictions, pay attention, listen. Great debates seem to last forever. All stars, Hall of Fame, it's a new era. Knock it out the park, hear the truth. Through the hoops, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Babe Ruth. Great players, it's the topic. I be on the profit. The contract is king, boy, stop it. Faster than the speed of light, 100-yard dash. Check the scoreboard, it's moving too fast. Slow it down, we give the best insights. If you really want what happened in the game last night, tune in. We heads up, always keep it real. This is talk radio, unfiltered. We unfiltered, yeah. Talk radio, unfiltered. We unfiltered.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the show. This is Final Seconds Sports Unfiltered on IntellectualRadio.com. And man, we got a lot in store for today's show. But first, I know when we ended last week's show, we had started off with the whole Cam Meredith thing, so I didn't get to touch on it with what happened after the show ended. But of course, we all know that the Bears, they didn't re-sign him; they let him go. Now, this is what makes me so mad when it comes to the Bears. Now, knowing that this guy had so much potential, in which you could have kept him for a little bit of money, for an extra $1 million, you could have had him under contract, but they decided not to do it. I don't understand the thinking with Ryan Pace, why he does what he does, everything that goes along with it. But now you pretty much said you trust Kevin White to be your number two receiver because you got your number one with the guy that you signed. Then you got your slot receiver, you got your new tight end, but you don't have a number two wide receiver. So you let go somebody who's a much better player than Kevin White, and you're trusting Kevin White to be your number two receiver, which is so stupid. It's just so stupid. But it shows you the decision making of Ryan Pace. And yeah, because that's your draft pick, you're gonna try to stick with it. And it's time to give up on Kevin White. Kevin White, you have to use the eye test when it comes to Kevin White. When you look at him, he looks like a guy that just knows how to run fast. His route running doesn't even look crisp. So, but now you're booking him in as your number two wide receiver. And when that doesn't work out, where do you go from there? You could have had your option in Cam to still be there for you, but you gave that up too, which is just stupid. But those are the decisions that they make. You know, just getting real fed up with the Bears. I don't even trust what they're gonna do come up for the NFL draft. So just getting real fed up with them and just everything that goes along with that. But yeah, just want to touch on that real quick because I didn't get to say nothing about it yesterday. But we're gonna move right into the NFL draft. Now, I've been looking at some mock drafts, trying to see what's going on, what they predicting here and there, and I came across a story how they're saying that the Giants being number two, they hold the key to the whole NFL draft because if they draft quarterback, it's going to go one way. If they go and get that running back, Saquon Barkley, it's going to go a whole nother way. And I could believe that. I see a lot in that. So a story that I pulled down, and it says, after months and rumors of speculation and hundreds of phone calls on my end, we're only 9 days away from the NFL draft. And here's what I know for sure: much of what will unfold within the top picks rides on what Giants would do at number two. If you want to zero in on what GM Dave Gettleman could do, these are three. Take a quarterback. If his team does this, the chances that QBs go one, two, three, and four intensifies. We know at that point that quarterbacks would go one, two, and three, and that would create a feeding frenzy for the fourth pick, where Browns GM John Dorsey could get the proverbial offer that he can't refuse from a QB hungry, desperate team for that number four pick. Now, I could see what they're saying with this whole thing, because if the Giants do take a quarterback, the teams that want to try to get in on it, they're going to go crazy to try to move up. That could bode well for the Bears. The Bears being at the number 8 pick. If teams thinking that all these quarterbacks are going to go off the table, Bears might get a pretty good offer. Let's say Dolphins at number 11 or 12 to jump up just so they could try to grab a quarterback. If they get an offer like that, some more picks thrown into it, I think that's something that they should do. So this could really make it interesting. Now, if the Giants take Saquon Barkley at number two, then you're going to pretty much have from there where teams may still think that the quarterback that they might want will still be there. It's going to be an interesting draft because you just don't know which way this thing is going to go. A lot of teams want quarterbacks, but is still just wondering, like, how desperate are they to try to jump up there and get it. If they see them going in those top few picks, it might be a lot of people desperate to jump up there and get it. So we're going to definitely see what happens with that. But just going into what the Bears should do, the Bears are going to have they pick from corner to linebacker, to safety, any direction that they may want to go. I know a lot of people been predicting about the guard from Notre Dame. Nobody wants to take a guard that high at the number 8 pick, but what this guy is being predicted to be, you just might you know, have to do something like that. I wouldn't prefer doing that. I'd rather have a linebacker. I'd rather have a safety. I don't think we should go corner this high because the corners we have right now. I think we should address corner, but not go that high to go after one. But I'm to the point now, I don't really trust Ryan Pace's decision making when it comes to this draft. The question is, what is he going to do? Is he going to make another Kevin White type pick? What's going to happen out of this whole thing? Ryan Pace, my trust in him is fading. I had high hopes when he first came over, but my trust in him is fading fast, and now coming up to this draft, I'm just hoping, like, it's a lot of picks there to be had, but you still can fail at this. Somebody who you might think is going to be good can still turn out to be a bust. That's the thing about players coming in the NFL. You could think that it's talent there, and it could turn out to be something completely different. So hopefully he got some people around him to help him make a smart decision when it comes to this, because it's it's going to really tell where he is as a GM, as far as if he can make a good decision to get the right player in here. But other than that, you have a lot of people vying to get into this top part of the draft. So I think it's going to be a lot of trades, which makes for an exciting draft. I'm hoping the Bears could be involved in some of those trades because we didn't spent the past 2 years we giving up draft picks. Let's take advantage of somebody and actually get some draft picks this year. So, I had somebody comment say it takes 4 years to establish a GM. This is his prove me wrong year. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Yeah, this is a prove me wrong year. You have to give him time to work. I do get that, but it doesn't make you comfortable when you see the type of decisions that he's been making so far. It just makes you uneasy, and it is a prove it this year because by him going to get a Trubisky, which, like I said before, I really like Trubisky. Didn't know much about him at first, but I really like what I'm seeing. And he let a Deshaun Watson go and didn't even try to go get him. His whole GM career with the Bears is gonna take off or is gonna fall depending on what's going on with Trubisky and what's going on with these other draft picks. He has to start hitting on these draft picks. This is not something you could just keep missing on and it's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay. Once again, you listen to Final Second Sports Unfiltered on IntellectualRadio.com. And you can actually call in at 708-223-8953 if you have any questions or comments you want to make. But back to Ryan again. I'm trying to be patient with him. I'm really trying to be patient with him, but it's so hard when you see the type of decisions that he's making. I, I don't want it to be another one of those things where, like back when we had other GMs, and I remember when we had Mike Martz over here, and because the type of offense that Mike Martz was running, we got rid of Greg Olson just to fit what Mike Martz wanted to do. I hope he's not doing the same thing when it comes to our new coach now. You have to just go out there and pick the best players, and that coach has to be good enough to utilize what you give him. You can't cater your picks to everything that your coach is trying to do because you're going to miss out on a lot because that Greg Olson deal would go down as one of the worst trades that we ever made because we only got a fourth round pick out of it. So it's gonna be interesting. It's definitely gonna be interesting. I have another comment. The task is to take the best player in the draft that fits your need. And guy says, I'm hoping that they don't trade up. They made good offseason moves. I agree with you there. And that goes back to my point. You cannot go get a player just because you're trying to cater to your coach's offense, the way that he do things. You have to go get the best player available. You can't mess around with that. You have to go get the best player available out there. And I'm hoping he doesn't turn into one of those GMs that's just going to go out there and try to build this thing the wrong way. And it scares me because of the players he have let go. I'm still in the corner of when he let Alshon go, that being such a dumb move to let Alshon go. Alshon was the best receiver this probably that this franchise has ever had with the production he was giving us. And he just completely gave up on him. Completely gave up on him. How can you give up on somebody when you have nothing to replace him? And that's my whole thing with Cam. And I know Cam is not proven, but Cam has showed a lot. So why not give that extra million, see what you have, really see what you have with your young quarterback, especially when you don't know what you got with Kevin White. Because Kevin White, all these years, I think this is his, what is it, his fifth year now? Fourth year? Kevin White hasn't shown anything but he could get injured. That's all he has shown. So we have to stop letting go talent that we have to sit up and make a move. It's like I said, I'm hopeful, but I'm not confident. I'm not confident at all. But I'm gonna move on from this whole, draft right now because it's still a few days away, and we'll definitely be jumping back into the draft soon. But I want to move on to the highlight of what's going on right now. And I smile when I say this because man, it's been exciting so far to not have my own team in it in the NBA playoffs. The NBA playoffs has been as exciting as you can hope it to be. And and I know a couple matches. I'm gonna go through all the matchups because I've been keeping a close eye on all of them. And I'm gonna start over in the East. We got the Raptors and the Wizards. I believe I believe that the Wizards should be a much better matchup than they're being for the Raptors right now. The Raptors are good, but I always said with Toronto that they're that regular season team, but then when it comes to the playoffs, Toronto seems to fold a little bit. I cannot understand why John Wall and Bradley Beal cannot have a good game at the same time. If Bradley Beal has a great game, John Wall takes a step back. If John Wall has a great game, Bradley Beal takes a step back. They got enough talent on Washington to 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 make this a better series going up against Toronto. I think Toronto will win it in the end. Because I think it comes down to coaching because Dwayne Casey is just a much better coach than what Scott Brooks is doing over there in Washington. But man, I hope Washington could go home and get these next two games because I want to see this series go seven. I think it could be a really good series to keep checking into if this series goes seven. Going to one of the more boring matchups of the East, the Celtics and the Bucks. Uh Yeah, the Celtics and the Bucks, the Celtics gonna win this series. I can't understand why the Bucks can't make it closer. And I just had Tory to chime in. He said, I think so too. He was like, I had the Wizards. A lot of people was taking the Wizards in Vegas to go out and win this series. Because if it's one team that I feel that can match up with Toronto, I think the Wizards can match up with them. They can really match up with them, and that's I expect this series to turn around and be a little better. They say they don't play hard every day; they take turns. Wall and Bill, they take turns. That's true. That's true. You know what? I'm not gonna say that about John Wall. I think John Wall play hard every game. John Wall is in there playing hard every game, but it's Bradley Bill. He's the one that gets lost. Bradley Bill gets lost in this whole thing. But I'm expecting this to turn around and really turn into a much better series between those two. And like I said, Celtics and Bucks, Celtics probably gonna close this thing out in 5 games. And this is only because it's not because Milwaukee don't have the talent. Milwaukee don't have the coaching. It's like they don't. It's like they have they have no identity to what they're trying to do when they're out there. I don't know why they let Jason Kidd go. Jason Kidd would have been better with this team in the playoffs than what they're doing right now. I don't know why they let Kidd go, but I think Boston going to close this thing out in about 5. The 76ers and the Heat is a very good series. The way Dwayne Wade went back to old Flash, Dwayne Wade turned into Flash the other night. During that second game in Philly, and he took over. And, that's what NBA stars do. Even when they're older, they can still go out and do some things. And just to see him stare down Kevin Hart, who is a big 76ers fan, just stare him down on the sideline as he was just giving it to him to take this thing back. But Philly really needs for Embiid to come back. I don't know why this team is holding him back. He's expressing his frustration on why are they babying him when your star is telling you why are you babying him and he want to play. I don't understand. It was a facial fracture. Okay, people come back from that. Let him put on a mask to protect his face because if they don't let Embiid come back, Philly might exit in the first round. Philly might really exit in the first round. They need Embiid. Now they're gonna give Heat they're gonna give the Heat a run. But for the Heat to be able to go back, and they're going back to Miami, and now Philly has to be that young team to go try to win on the road when you're dealing with Miami is a young team, but you got some veteran leadership over there who has done it before. This is uncharted waters for Philly. Philly doesn't. Philly hasn't. This is their first time in the playoffs in a long time. They haven't experienced this whole thing, so it's going to be interesting to see that series, man. I'm definitely watching that one. And let's see. He said they yeah, yeah, I hear you, Marcus. They've been cautious with Embiid because he's injury prone, but the times that Embiid has had injuries, it's been like leg and foot injuries. It's been leg and foot injuries. He's not. You gotta understand. If he had a problem with his legs and feet, yeah, be cautious with him. I get that. Yeah, yeah, you gotta be cautious with him. But that's not the injury right now. It's a facial injury. So if his legs are good and he could put on a mask, man, Embiid need to let that man put on that mask and get into this series. If the doctors already said, okay, he's cleared to put on a mask, the team needs to stop holding him back. They need to stop holding him back. If he had an injury to his leg, oh, I don't blame him for holding him out. I get that. But no, nothing's wrong with his legs. So man, they need to let this man. They better let him play, or they gonna have a first round exit. That's all I got to say about that. And Kenya, you just checking in, but we just talking about the NBA playoffs right now. Just checking. And I think he cleared concussion protocol, Marcus. I think he cleared that. I think this is Philly being just cautious right now. I already think he cleared that. It's I don't know. Hey, they better do something. I want to see him in there because I'm afraid that if he don't come back, they ain't gonna make it to the second round, and we ain't gonna get to see him in the playoffs. So maybe that's just me being selfish as a fan. I want to see it, but they better make something happen. And then you go into Cleveland and Indy, which they play tonight, game two tonight. Cleveland got spanked. Cleveland got spanked in that first game. I don't know if they just wasn't ready. I can't really sit up and say that Indy is a better team. You know, you got to give Indy all the credit in the world because they going out there and they balling. Oladipo is playing out of his mind. So you got to give him all the credit in the world when it comes to that. But LeBron can't do this thing by himself. His teammates have to really step up. It's when you watch them, it's like they're waiting for LeBron to go off so they could go off. They're gonna have to step up and do their thing and help this man out because LeBron is doing everything he can do. He had a triple double the last game. You can't ask for more out of your superstar player. So I'm hoping Cleveland could get it together and make this a really good series because Indiana coming out letting it be known they not scared, they not playing. And Indiana, they shot lights out in that first game. It's going to take. I I believe I contribute this game to the slow start. If Cleveland didn't have that slow start, I really believe this game would have came down to the wire, a 3 to 5 point game, and Cleveland would have pulled it off. Cleveland just has to come out strong tonight. They got to come out strong. Don't come out slow. You can't let a young team get that big lead and get that confidence. You got to take their confidence away right at the beginning. And I see somebody say Indiana in six, they have a much better supporting cast and they're a sleeper. Yeah, they Indy has a decent team. I'm not going to give them no more than that. They have a decent team. Are they ready to beat a LeBron led team? I don't think so. Everybody was so shocked, like, oh man, LeBron lost the first game in his career, the first round of the playoffs, first time he had lost that game. Hey, it happens. Everybody can't be perfect. It happens. I think come tonight, you're gonna see Cleveland come out strong in that first quarter. LeBron gonna have one of those burnouts where he go out for the first 5 minutes of the game where he just going all out, getting everybody involved. He gonna burn himself out. Then he gonna go rest for a couple minutes. Then he gonna come back in. That's what you're gonna see LeBron do tonight. Indiana is gonna see the Cleveland team that we all know who's gonna step up in these playoffs. Because Indiana has a decent team. I'm not finna sub and say they have a better supporting cast. They got a better team. I don't believe that. Like I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but I look at it for what it is, and I just don't see that. I really don't see that. But we're gonna move on over to the West now. Well, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna. Oh, Ruben, you need to stop it. Philly and OKC in the finals. That ain't gonna never happen. you you need to stop that. That's a poor man's dream right there. Don't, you need to stop that. But it seems like the Warriors and the Spurs is a done deal, and that's simply because Kawhi is not there. Spurs cannot compete with Golden State without Kawhi. And speaking of Kawhi, I got a nice little segment coming up on Kawhi. We gonna dig into a lot of the reasons of what's going on with that. But we have, like I said, I think the Warriors going to wrap this thing up in four, even without Steph Curry. I think they're going to sweep it. One of the bigger surprises to me, maybe not to a lot of people, but the Pelicans and the Trailblazers. I did not expect New Orleans to go to Portland and get both games. Yeah, I would have gave them one. I wouldn't have gave them both. For them to go there and get both games, man, that's going to be. But I'm hoping because I like the way Portland plays. I'm hoping they can go to New Orleans and steal some games back. They got to go and get at least one. I'm hoping they could get back into this series because I think it can really be an exciting series. But just like everybody say, like when we talked about the whole thing when the Bulls was in the playoffs last year, when we all talked about playoff Rondo, and then Rondo got hurt, and then the Bulls got put off. Everybody was like, "Oh man, Rondo don't make that much of a difference." Man, look what he's doing for New Orleans. Look at what Rondo is doing for New Orleans. Man, playoff Rondo first game put up 17 assists. Rondo doing what he's doing is allowing Drew Holiday to be that off the ball guard and really take his game to another level. Rondo is, man, he a lot of people don't give Rondo credit. Man, playoff Rondo is doing a lot for that team. He's allowing a lot of players to be free and do what they do. And then everybody talked about Nico. And when the Bulls traded him, man, Nico over in New Orleans doing his thing right now. Nico is really doing his thing right now. And you listen to Final Second Sports Unfiltered on IntellectualRadio.com. And Man, I'm impressed with how Nico has fitted, how the way he's fit in over there in New Orleans. And then, Anthony Davis is just a beast. The brow is just a beast. Do we even have the brow anymore? I don't know. I think he cut the middle of it. But the brow is just a beast though, man. But I'm hoping just for excitement, I want to see Portland get back into that series. Then we'll go to the Jazz and the Thunder. I believe this is going to be a closer series also. Like the Thunder, yeah, they're leading it. Did they play 2 games yet? I'm not sure. I believe they did. But I think this is going to be a series that's going to go. I feel like this one could go 7. I really feel like this one could go 7 because can you really trust? Like Paul George has stepped up ever since the playoffs started. He has stepped up and he did his thing. Can he keep it going? That's the question. If Paul George has finally woke up and turned into the Paul George that we all know that he could be, then Utah's in trouble. And that's good for the playoffs for the next round matchups. But me looking at it, because if the Thunder pull it off, the Thunder is going to play the winner of the Rockets and the Timberwolves. So, which is going to be cool to see. And I'm just looking forward a little bit right now. And the Pelicans pull it off, they're going to face the Warriors, which would be another good matchup, especially if Steph is not back. If Steph is back, it don't bode well for New Orleans. But I think it's still going to be good. Oh, Ruben, you said game 2 is tonight. Okay, yeah. So game 2 is tonight. The Thunder better hold home court and not let the Jazz get one of these games. Because if Utah get one of these and get that game tonight, going back to Utah, that could be trouble. That could be big trouble for OKC. But we will see what they do. But going into that final matchup. Oh well, just real quick, I had somebody comment said Mirotic is playing much better defensively than he has played with the Bulls. I'm not gonna say it's better. He looks the same. Mirotic has always been. He's always tried to play defense. He's just not great at it, but he's always tried hard at it. And he's taking that whole thing. Him being traded, knowing that he has a chance to win some games, to be in the playoffs, to actually be a main, not a main piece, but one of the big pieces to that team. He's motivated. Nico is motivated, and Nico wants to get that next good contract. So, man, I'm happy for him, man. I always like Nico. Man, I'm happy for what he's doing over there. I hope they could keep it going and make some noise over there in the West. But moving to the Rockets and the Timberwolves. Now, my heart is in this series a little bit. I'm not gonna even lie. Not the Timberwolves, the Timber Bulls, because you got Jimmy over there, you got Derek. Man, watching that game the other night and watching Derek play, man, Derek had a really good game. I always talk to my wife when I get kind of frustrated about Derek, and she always tell me to leave Derek alone. But man, I still love everything about Derek. I just want to see Derek succeed. And being in the playoffs right now, and being in those familiar surroundings with Tibbs and Jimmy and all them, it it kind of seems like he's feeling like his old self. Tibbs made a big mistake when he took Derek out to rest him and he didn't put him back in to like 3 minutes left in the game. That's when the Timberwolves start really losing some ground to Houston. Now, I'm not finna say, oh man, Timberwolves finna beat Houston because we all know what Houston is. Houston, we all predict Houston to go to the finals. But just like that old Bulls fan in me, when it came to Derek now and Taj and Jimmy, even though it might not happen, I'm gonna be sitting there rooting for them boys to make some noise, man, because I still enjoy watching Derek play. I still enjoy watching Jimmy play, and I just want to see these guys make it a great series, and take them as far as they could take them. But I know we've been tapping into this NBA playoffs for a while now. Like I said, man, NBA's been so exciting. It's been so exciting. So it's just one of those things where you could go on and on about it. And again, you listen to Final Second Sports Unfiltered on Intellectual Radio. And yeah, Tori, you're right. Harden was killing them. They're starting to classify James Harden as unguardable. You know how much you killing when people starting to say that you're unguardable. But don't a few people think when he do that step back, he traveling? Really, really watch his step back and slow it down. Harden then added a couple more steps to that step back. He's known for it so much they'll never call it on him. But man, really watch that step back. That man, man, Harden, he's traveling. I don't care what nobody say. But when you're a superstar, you get that. You get that. I see Richard said easy playoff P going off again tonight. Oh, you call him easy playoff P? Hey, they need him to. They need him to. If he don't, Utah gonna walk out of OKC with a win because you can't you can't make Russ feel that he needs to do it by himself. Because if Russ feels that way, Russ gonna take a lot of bad shots. As good as Russ is, Russ will shoot you out of a game too. So you don't want Russ to feel that he has to do more. Yeah, P gonna have to step up. Said Wolves got to find that mismatch. Tori, I couldn't agree with you more. Man, I couldn't agree with you more about that because Houston switches everything on pick and rolls. They're not taking advantage of Cat in the post when he got a small guy on him. They're not taking advantage of Harden trying to hide against Taj Gibson. If you're going to hide James Harden on Taj, throw it in the post to Taj and let Taj go to work on him. A story because I see, man, we could go, we could talk playoffs all night, all day. I want to go a story that I heard this week. This was about a 14-year-old boy who missed his school bus one morning, and as he was trying to walk the route to school, he knocked on a door, just thinking it'd be safe to ask somebody some directions because he got turned around. And soon as the woman came to the door, she started accusing him of trying to break into her house. Her husband came downstairs, got the shotgun, and shot at him. Black 14-year-old boy. This really disturbed me when I seen this story. And just to take you a little bit into it, it says a 14-year-old was walking to high school after sleeping late and missing the bus when he decided to ask a neighbor for directions. But it nearly got the student from Rochester Hills, Michigan, killed Thursday. The woman who opened the door after Brennan Walker, who is black, knocked on the door, started yelling at him. Then the woman's husband grabbed a shotgun and fired it at him. Um, the official said Walker told TV that she was like, "Why are you trying to break into my house?" He said, I was trying to explain to her that I was trying to get directions to high school, and she kept yelling at me. Then this guy came downstairs. He grabbed the gun. I saw it and I started to run, and that's when I heard the gunshot. 14-year-old kid. You can't come down to the door with a calm mind and see what's going on. Your first thing is black kid at the door. I gotta shoot at him. Man, this is crazy. This story really upset me because it made me think about, man, having a 12-year-old son and somebody doing that to my kid. This is crazy. But one good thing about this, the guy who did it, his name is Jeffrey Ziegler, a retired firefighter who is a white man, was charged with assault with intent to murder and a felony firearm charge. His bond was set at $50,000. This guy, it said there's a lot more to the story than what's been told, and I believe it will all come out in court, that Ziegler said in the arraignment, because he said he was in bed, he heard his wife screaming, so he came down to defend her. But the thing is, you chase this kid down the street shooting your gun at him. At that point, he's not a threat to come in your house anymore. So at that point, you're just trying to kill somebody. Now, this guy has, I think they actually going to charge him with attempted murder, which they need to, because there's no reason to be shooting at a kid. It's just crazy. It's crazy what happened in this whole story. That's just something I wanted to mention to everybody real quick, because I know with the whole playoff thing, we've been running over time. Um, really quickly, but yeah, check that story out and as watch the video on it, man. It's insane. It's insane. But I want to. Oh, going back to the Harden thing, yeah, he is traveling. I know he's traveling. That's all. But they'll never call that. I want to tap into real quick. Once again, final second sports unfiltered on Intellectual Radio. I want to tap into this thing with Kawhi Leonard. We all know Kawhi is out hurt right now, and he pretty much refused to come back and play for the Spurs this year. Now, everybody is saying for a lot of different reasons. They're saying, I'm going to read some of these reasons that I jotted down that everybody is saying why he's doing what he's doing. We all know Kawhi had a quad injury that they consider a soft tissue injury. They said the doctors cleared him. They say he's good to play. But he's saying with some of his past injuries, they rushed him back and he ended up hurting himself again. So now he don't trust the Spurs doctors. He don't trust the Spurs doctors now. But how this thing is getting even worse, as teammates, you should never comment on a teammate and his injury with money, none of that. It's just not what teammates do. So now a lot of people are thinking that Kawhi is learning from this whole Isaiah Thomas injury, where Isaiah Thomas rushed back to try to play even when he knew he shouldn't have. And now that injury, that hip injury that Isaiah Thomas had, it's pretty much costing him probably like 70, $80 million, because nobody wants to give him a contract now. But he was trying to do what he can for his teammates and his team and come back and play on it. But now, since everybody know this injury is a problem, he can't get his contract. Kawhi only has like a year left on his contract. He don't want to do anything to jeopardize him getting that max contract, which can be upwards of like 210 million. So I don't blame him for not coming back and playing hurt. I would do the same thing that he's doing. But then you have somebody like Tony Parker, a teammate, who claims that he had the same type of injury and it was more serious, and he can't understand why Kawhi is not playing right now. Now, a lot of people think that Popovich is putting these guys up to saying this. Popovich is the coach. Think that he's putting these guys up to speaking out on this whole thing, thinking it's going to make Kawhi come back and play. He even, with the media, they said this was a shot at Kawhi. He was thanking LaMarcus Aldridge for being there for his teammates, pretty much saying that Kawhi is not. So this is bringing up a lot of things. When you have this type of discord within your organization and your players and your coach, and everybody know Pop is the greatest coach in the NBA, but when you have this type of discord, now the question is do Kawhi even want to be there? Do he even want to be with the Spurs now? So now you hear about possible trade rumors. Spurs might trade him. They might try to see what they could get because this draft has so much talent. They might try to see what they could get, from Kawhi. Get for him to trade him. And whenever I hear trade of a superstar player, I start thinking about my own team. And I just ask this question: what are you willing to give up if you were the Bulls to get Kawhi Leonard? And I'm gonna start it off at your number 6 pick, Laurie Markkinen, and a future first rounder. I don't think it's too much. Do you think it's too much for a superstar like Kawhi? It's gonna take a lot to get it done. But we all know how John Paxson is. When he's in love with a player, like he is with Laurie Markkinen, Paxson don't trade those players. He hold on to them. And that's just gonna make you wonder if he has this chance to get a Kawhi Leonard, will he make that move? I know we're rebuilding, but when you got a chance to get a player like this, you got to throw some things out there and see if San Antonio would bite on it. You got to really see if San Antonio would bite on it. Like I think it'd be a great move to make. You have some people who say, no, we're rebuilding, don't trade anything, just keep on building through the draft. But we already see we're not good at tanking. So I don't even want another year of trying to build through the draft. And we got a chance to make a move like this and make it. Because if you got a Kawhi Leonard here, you're gonna attract another superstar to come play with him. Hey, you might even attract a LeBron to come play with him. And Kenyon, I know you probably wouldn't like that because you hate the Bulls and you love LeBron. I wonder if you ever become a Bulls fan if LeBron came to the Bulls. But it's it's just one of those things where you're gonna really have to see. You have to put it out there. And I hear you, Dad. You said Kawhi is a slightly better version of Jimmy. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I think Kawhi is more complete than Jimmy. I think Kawhi doesn't have that personality of I need to shine like Jimmy does. I think Kawhi is a much better team player than Jimmy. Jimmy Jimmy is a very good player. Jimmy would never be MVP. I don't feel Jimmy would ever be an MVP because you have to be a lot to be an MVP. Kawhi is a perennial MVP. He will be MVP someday. Let's see. Rich said this is getting out of hand. They need to foul something on that man. What can they do though? It's nothing that they could do. You can't tell this man what he feels inside of his body. So they're handcuffed when it comes to that. There's nothing they can do about that. I knew it, KD. LeBron go to the Bulls, you done with him. I knew you would say that. But hey, nah, I don't think you'll be done with him. I don't think you'll be done with him. But LeBron loved a player like Kawhi. You able to get a Kawhi in here, you might be able to convince him to come on over. You might be able to convince him to come on over. That's why you need that star talent. If you got a chance to get it, you got to go get it. But I think this whole thing between them has gotten so bad. I don't even think it could be repaired. I don't even think it'd be repaired because when you start calling teammates out in the media, it becomes a problem. No, Devin, I think it's Kawhi. I don't think it's a pop system. I don't think it's Popovich system. I think it's Kawhi. I see what you're saying, but Kawhi, he's the real deal. I don't think he's a system player. He's not being a star because of a system. And he'll land in Boston. No, he ain't gonna land in Boston. I don't think that's gonna happen. But man, I take Kawhi any day. Any day. I don't think he's a system player. I think he's going to shine no matter where he's at. He's definitely going to shine no matter where he's at. But like we all know, NBA playoffs tonight. I know my wife taking me to something after this. She's taking me to a friend for a friend's birthday. She's not keeping me out too long. I'm going home to watch the NBA. So and I'm gonna go ahead and say happy birthday to Lachey. Lachey, happy birthday to you. You don't look a day over 50. But I'm just joking. But happy birthday, Shay. We'll see you over there in a little bit. Plus, we're gonna we're gonna move on to the crazy and the insane. And I'm gonna get these in pretty quick. I got two crazy and insanes for you. The first one is gonna be it says stranded NYC poop train has small town Alabamians stinking mad. So it said a stinking train load of human waste from New York City is stranded in a tiny Alabama town, spreading a stench like a giant backed up toilet. And the poop train is just the latest example of the South being used as a dumping ground for other states' waste. So the train is stuck there. And all these people, it's a town of like 900 something people. All these people smell is like just poop everywhere because the train is stuck in this little small town in the South. But I just thought that was pretty crazy. But who all know about In and Out? If you've been to LA, you know about In and Out. You know about In and Out Burger. You know what? I think I need to think about a career change. Do you know how much In and Out managers make? In and Out managers make an average of $160,000 a year for managing a burger chain. McDonald's managers got to be pissed right now because there's no bigger burger chain than McDonald's, and you got In and Out paying their managers $160,000. Man, I need, honey, I think I need to move to LA, and I need to get my man, my manager training, become a manager at In and Out. Because that's doing, we could both go be managers at In and Out. We'll be doing it in LA. 320,000 coming into the household, man. Let's do it. But man, can you believe that? $160,000. That's my crazy saying. But I want to do one more thing real quick. Man, my cousin, he goes by the name of DJ T Spins. And actually, other DJs that I know, DJ Reeves, DJ Ike, they do this Kickback Thursdays at the Q Bar. The Q Bar is located in Glendale Heights, 2240 Bloomingdale Road. Man, these guys are doing their thing over there. Man, they over there DJing. You got pool, you got food, you got free pool all night. You got like good food, good music. Man, support my cuz going out. There's no cover charge, drink specials, all that good stuff. Support my cousin out at his event. He called it Kickback Thursdays at the Q Bar in Glendale Heights. Everything kicks off, I believe, around 9 o'clock. Party starts and they party on into the night. If you're off on Fridays or you're working in the evenings and you can make it out to go support, man, you want a good party, go check them out at the Q Bar on Thursdays in Glendale Heights. That's my show for today. You are listening to Final Second Sports Unfiltered on IntellectualRadio.com. And man, coming back at you next week with more topics, shows coming from the house. I got the studio up and going and get that thing going too. I'll see you next week.
Let's get it. Ball hard, drop 30. Yeah, touchdown and field goals. Make the game worthy. Shoot your lights out, Steph Curry. Final seconds, unfiltered lines blurry. Sports talk radio with the host, Jeff. Black and white stats on the boards, no refs. We all ball, all net field goals. Number one, final seconds of the game. Home run, yeah, let's talk facts over fiction. Seasonal predictions, pay attention, listen. Break the base, seem to last forever. All stars, Hall of Fame, it's a new era. Knock it out the park, hear the truth, through the hoops. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays,